Yeah.
And that brings us to the movie. I mean, it was a phenomenon.
Huge.
It started so many conversations.
And that cast, Whitney as Savannah, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Bassett as Bernadine, she just nailed it.
She really did. And Loretta Devine as Gloria.
Layla Rochon as Robin.
They were all so good.
They brought those characters to life.
You can watch that movie 100 times.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome to Witter, your shortcut to deep dives for busy minds.
Deep dives for busy minds. I like that.
You know, in this Black Voices episode, we're diving into Terry McMillan's Waiting to Exhale.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, it really made a splash back in '92. And for our listeners who, you know, maybe their TBR pile's a little out of control,
I feel that.
we're going to break down why this book became such a phenomenon.
It's amazing how relevant it still is, you know? McMillan really captures what it meant to be a Black woman in the 90s, and those themes, they still resonate.
Right, like it's not just a time capsule.
Not at all.
It's about these four friends, Savannah, Bernadine, Robin, and Gloria, and they're all figuring out life, love, and everything in between in Phoenix.
It's like eavesdropping on your best friends.
Totally. And it gets real, the good, the bad, and the messy.
Oh, yeah. McMillan doesn't sugarcoat anything.
Which is why I think it hit such a nerve. Plus, you can't forget the movie and that soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack. Every song is a mood.
Speaking of the movie, it was huge.
Forrest Whitaker directing, and the cast. Whitney, Angela Bassett, Loretta Devine, Layla Rochon, they were incredible. But the book, it goes even deeper.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Starting with Savannah. She's successful, a PR pro, ditches Denver for Phoenix, a total fresh start.
Big dreams, too, right? Television production, breaking out of that PR mold.
Exactly. And in the 90s, especially in those industries.
You didn't see a lot of Black women in those roles.
So it makes you think, was McMillan making a statement about the changes happening back then?
Definitely. Think about the rise of Black-owned media, the push for representation. Savannah, she's like the embodiment of that. But her love life, whew, that's a whole other story. Especially when Kenneth comes back into the picture.
An old flame.
Yeah, an old flame.
Talk about baggage. It makes you wonder if some relationships are better left in the past.
That's the question McMillan throws at us.
Because we've all been there, right? Second chances, do they work? Do they backfire? We watched Savannah wrestle with it.
Oh, yeah, she's torn. Now Bernadine, her life seems perfect.
Until her husband leaves her for a younger woman after 18 years.
Brutal.
But what's worse is how he tries to cut her off financially.
Ugh, it's heartbreaking. And it happens way too often, especially when women trust their partners with the finances.
It's like a double betrayal, you know?
Definitely.
But Bernadine doesn't just sit back. She burns all this stuff.
That scene.
It's powerful. It makes you think, was McMillan saying something about how women are supposed to act during divorce?
Oh, there's so much anger there, but also this reclaiming of her power.
And from that point on, she changes everything. New look, dating again.
Yeah.
And McMillan really gets into the complexities of female sexuality.
She owns her desires, which was pretty radical for the time.
Right. Like she's saying women don't stop wanting things just because they reach a certain age.
Exactly. Now, Robin, she's completely different, bold, confident, and all about pleasure. And she calls men out on their BS. It's refreshing, you know. But then she falls for Russell, the married guy.
Classic crap.
And he strings her along with promises.
It makes you think, how much of Robin's, seeking pleasure is about what she really wants and how much is like pushing back against how society tells Black women to act?
That's a good point. It's about control, right?
Yeah.
She's not letting anyone define her.
But those promises, they always lead to heartbreak.
They do.
And it shows, like, Robin's not just this strong woman caricature.
Oh, right. She's got layers.
Then there's Gloria.
Single mom, running a salon, raising a teenage son.
She's got a lot on her plate.
And she's so real about it.
That scene where she gives Tarek the talk, hilarious.
And so necessary.
McMillan doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
Nope.
But there's this scene with Gloria at a women's retreat.
In the sauna.
Yeah. She's been struggling with her weight, how she sees herself.
And in that moment, she just lets it all go.
It's like she finally sees herself for who she is.
Beautiful scene.
And it makes you think about, like, how much we let other people's opinions define us.
All the time. And that feeling of connection, finding your people, it's all over the book. These women, they're there for each other through thick and thin.
That sisterhood, it's like a lifeline.
Totally.
And McMillan tackles some tough topics, race and relationships. He talks about colorism, interracial dating.
Head on.
And the book sparked some debate about how Black men were portrayed.
Yeah. But I think it's more about showing the different sides of relationships,
It's not about good guys and bad guys. It's about reality.
Exactly. And she puts these complex issues into everyday situations, like when Robin meets Troy at the grocery store.
She's a football coach.
Yeah. Handsome, charming, but he lives with his mother and son.
Complicated.
Robin has to figure out if she's ready for that.
It's about more than just attraction.
Right. And Bernadine, when she demands financial accountability from John,
Power move.
she takes back her life, changes her look, her attitude.
Exhales all that bad stuff.
Literally.
And there's Savannah and Lionel.
That New Year's Eve road trip. Hilarious, but also you start to see Lionel's true colors.
The fantasy versus the reality.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the movie. I mean, it was a phenomenon.
Huge.
It started so many conversations.
And that cast, Whitney as Savannah, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Angela Bassett as Bernadine, she just nailed it.
She really did. And Loretta Devine as Gloria.
Layla Roshan as Robin.
They were all so good.
They brought those characters to life.
You can watch that movie 100 times.
And that soundtrack.
Oh, man.
Babyface did an amazing job curating it.
Whitney, Toni Braxton.
Brandy, Mary J. Blige.
It's like a character in the movie.
Totally.
It really adds this whole other layer.
And it won a Grammy, rightfully so.
It's so powerful.
It really captures the essence of the book.
And I think it brought Waiting to Exhale to a whole new audience.
For sure.
But there's just something about reading the book.
McMillan's voice is so unique.
It's like she's talking directly to you. So honest, so funny. It makes those characters feel so real, which is why I think it's still relevant today.
Definitely.
Love, loss, betrayal,
resilience,
self-discovery, it's all still happening.
It's timeless.
No matter who you are, you can connect with it.
And it reminds you, even when things are tough, there's always a reason to, exhale.
Let go of that stuff that's weighing you down.
Exactly.
But it's not all sunshine and roses either.
No.
There's some real darkness there too.
Loss, disappointment.
It's real life. But the book shows that you can get through it.
That you're not alone.
And those friendships, that love, it helps you heal.
Absolutely.
It makes you think, what would be different for these women if the book was set today?
And what would still be the same? That's a good question.
Because we've come a long way.
But there's still work to do.
And McMillan's work, it reminds us to keep having these conversations.
To keep listening to Black voices.
Not just during Black History Month.
All year round.
So if you haven't read Waiting to Exhale, I highly recommend it.
It's worth it.
And even if you have, it's worth reading again.
You might see it differently now.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you learned something, felt something, and maybe even got inspired to pick up the book. Until next time, keep reading and keep those conversations going.